guy.
So,
what's happening,
what
buddy?
What do we have here?
We have an official shit show. Dude, it's fucking hot here. I think Kentucky sent some of their weather here early. It was like 69, 70 every day this week. We were actually bragging about how cool the weather was. And then today it rains and it's just been super humid and I'm sweating like a pig. And I don't want to complain too much because it's probably still only 75 here, but an official shit show. So just like my brain's going a mile a minute. We have so much stuff that we're trying to bring to Camaro Fest. And I don't know if we're overdoing it or not, but like we have a huge product line. A lot of the stuff that we build, you know, our crash bar, oil coolers, belly pans, stuff like that, hood brackets. And then we're bringing a bunch of other resale products, some Katech valve covers and Banks, doing a display for the Banks iDash, showing off a couple of our new kits. So just building displays, getting boxes packed, and trying to manage weight in our trailer. So, well, Banks was nice enough to send us a display module. I wanted to have a way to display it. So many guys still don't know what the iDash is, which is kind of crazy. It's not super surprising because it's really, Banks is a company focused on trucks, primarily diesels, and they really don't market this to anything but trucks. And when I finally got my hands on one, when I was introduced to it and got my hands on one, it didn't take long before you realize just how incredible this gauge is. So check out what Banks was nice enough to send. Thank you, Jay. Got an OBD2 simulator, so we can actually have a fully functional iDash at the show. And you've got like 8 pre-programmable PIDs. So, you know, the gauge kind of looks like it's working as it would in the vehicle. And now we can do some demos showing people how to change the gauge setup, how to change colors, stuff like that. So, pretty cool little part of the display, I think. Thank you again, guys. Let's get this over here. That's for the wife. Let's move this thing, get the car loaded, finally get some work done. It's so hot here. Time to move the beast. All right, let's start this baby up. Oh, it's a good thing I'm skinny. That's a joke. I don't know how you guys do this. I know they make trailers that are better equipped. Whew. All right, let's see if she works. These are the custom adapter fittings that we had Dyme make for us to work specifically with this oil cooler. It's a M22 by 1.5, so it's a metric thread. And we just didn't have, you can easily just do an AN adapter off of these. Those are pretty easy to find, but we just didn't have the clearance to run an AN adapter and then this Dyme Quick Connect. So yeah, this setup works a lot better. And then from here, let's try the aux cooler real quick. The moment of truth. This was kind of the wonkiest part of the of the whole assembly. I really wanted to show off the whole triple heat exchanger kit, and you know, got to go a little over the top. So if we did it right, this ought to slide in with just a little bit of tension and should line up perfect. Holy cow. I think we may have done it. Sean, if you're watching, you the man. Look at that. That is perfect. And then the coolest part about, or the other thing that I want to show off about our CSF aux coolers is we have these custom made. So instead of having the quick connect, the 5/8 quick connect welded on, we have them weld in some bungs. So these guys are removable. So for guys that want to run their factory hoses, you can just reuse them. If you're like me and you want to have 20% more flow through your heat exchanger system and you want to upgrade everything to 3/4 inch hose, then you use these improved racing adapters. So you use these low profile adapters. These come in our aux cooler or upgraded aux cooler fitting package. And that allows you to run 3/4 inch hose barb off of these guys instead of 5/8. And it doesn't sound like a lot, but through the entire system, in between your heat exchangers to your pump, in and out of the pump, again, we saw a 20% increase in gallon per minute flow when we did this fitting package, which is why we now offer it as a kit. This is the, I guess you'd call it the Gen 2 air deflector. Our first iteration was pretty flat, or it was flat, I guess you could say. It was one piece. And so what we found is that we weren't getting enough deflection and we weren't filling enough of the void. And so we ended up going to like a 2-piece design to get a little bit more complicated geometry. So this is the Gen 2 version. It fills up the cavity, and I'll show you on the card later perfectly. Well, I think it turned out pretty good. So the whole idea behind building this thing was I wasn't sure if I was going to bring the car to Camaro Fest, and kind of the core of the business, obviously what started the business was our crash bar. And so I really needed a way to tabletop display the crash bar with, well, this is the revised version now with our stage 2 oil cooler. And I thought, in addition to showing off the crash bar with oil cooler, I also wanted to show our triple heat exchanger kit. This is really the kind of bread and butter of what Griffin-Motorsports is about. It's about cooling packages for the ZL1. And this, aside from like the fender tank, this is essentially the entire kit. So starting with our custom-made CSF aux coolers, the driver's side being the one that is a part of the heat exchanger cooling system, we have our upgraded cooling fittings. So CSF welds in an ORB bung here for us so we can do a low profile adapter, allowing you to run 3/4 inch hoses through the entire heat exchanger system. The other side, the passenger side, is for the engine coolant. So most guys don't change the hoses here. Although this is removable, this is the fitting that comes with the kit. So you can just plug and play your existing 5/8 quick connect hoses. And then we have the dedicated Motorsports main heat exchanger. This was designed by dedicated Motorsports, but built by CSF. So oil cooler made by CSF, aux coolers, basically the entire cooling system, including our larger supercharger bricks that will be coming out soon, all CSF. In addition to our brand new quick connect fittings made by Dyme with the cool CSF anodized fitting. And these are double-sided, so if you want to rock the Dyme logo or if you want to rock the CSF logo, you can do both. This is basically the bread and butter of Griffin Motorsports. Super excited to have this tabletop display made. Special shout out to Sean, my 3D designer. Thank you for coming over and dealing with me late nights in order to get this thing done. So thank you very much. I wanted to show off our E85 kit. You will be able to see this on the car. This one's kind of cool. It's the first, I guess you'd say like the world's first, all billet flex fuel sensor versus the old Continental E85 sensor. So this guy, been around since the 80s. This one's super cool. It's a modular design. I've made a couple videos on it so far. You can run Dash 8, Dash 10. You can run quick connects. You've got a lot of different options. The reason that I like it is that it works perfectly with the Dyme quick connect hoses. And so we ended up making a firewall bracket. This goes on the firewall of the Camaro. It's kind of got good symmetry, and for the first time you can have a flex fuel sensor that isn't bouncing around your engine bay. The other cool thing is that you can adapt these to an existing E85 kit. So if you have a DSX kit or something else, and you want to upgrade the sensor to mount it to the firewall, this plugs directly into any other E85 kit that's on the market. So it's a really, really cool, simple upgrade. Additionally, I wanted to show off kind of our fuel filter kit. So with the Dyme Quick Connect, we have an entire fuel kit, a fuel line kit that snaps together, that starts at the fuel tank, and it goes all the way up to the high pressure fuel pump. So this mounts under the car. We have a custom bracket for it. It comes with a check valve, and essentially everything, the whole kit just snaps together. And so the hose that feeds down from the flex fuel sensor down the fender well goes under the car. And then this side technically goes to the fuel tank, but we don't have a fuel tank on display. So this one's going to have to work for now. And then we're piggybacking the display to also show off the Banks iDash. This is easily the best first mod that we always tell people to do for the ZL1 because it's just so critical in helping guys track intake air temps, oil pressure, and a bunch of other PIDs that are important to the ZL1. Banks was nice enough to send us an OBD2 simulator. So it gives us some bells and whistles and adjustments. So guys that can basically test drive the Banks iDash who aren't familiar with it, I can kind of do some demos and show them some of the things that they can do. I think this is going to be a pretty cool display for Camaro Fest. So thanks again, Banks, for sending this over. So this was just kind of a simple display, kind of showing off a prototype product. And I think I've talked about it a couple times online. So getting a lot of complaints from people that are doing port injection rail kits, that they have to make their own fuel lines. And it seems to be a potential failure point for guys that are having fuel leak issues and then subsequent fire issues. And so we obviously have the technology to do a quick connect system where all of these don't have to be wrenched on. And so I really wanted to make kind of a plug and play, simple, click together fuel system for the 2 high PSI Katana port rails. So we basically have that now. Dyme has helped us design a custom monoblock. So there's really no wrenches involved in this entire kit. Everything just snaps together. Also showing off the 2 different colors. So the kit comes in black or purple. This is not for sale yet, but it will be for sale soon. And so I just kind of wanted to give people a sneak peek of this one. Going to bring by a couple of our favorite valve cover options. So obviously I'm a little partial to the Katech cast aluminum valve covers. I have them on my car. I think they look sick. And it's just kind of the old school hot rod look, especially with their coil relocation kit. I'm very mad at myself. I forgot to order a set of red Granatelli coils. I just sold the last kit last week and I forgot to buy more. So there's no red coils, but whatever. I just had these valve covers powder coated. It's like a matte red texture. I think it looks really cool. And then obviously we have the 2 high PSI billet aluminum that are anodized. These are the ones for the camshaft shootout, but I wanted to bring those 2 just to kind of show the contrast and some of the different options that guys have if they either want to dress up their engine bay or if they need to move the coils for port injection. And then this was just kind of a last minute deal. So we have a handful of dealers that sell our high flow hood bracket for the ZL1, and I wanted to give them kind of an easy way to display all of the colors. So I just had this wall mount bracket. Thanks again, Sean, for designing this for me. We just kind of went through a couple iterations and have one that's as compact as possible. It shows off all of the colors, and perfect timing for 4th of July. We have red, white, and blue on top. And so these will be going out to our dealers early next week or whenever we get back from Camaro Fest, but I at least have one as a tabletop display for the event. Well, that's pretty much it. I'm exhausted. We have a little bit more stuff to pack up, but I think that's all of like the stuff that we need to show off. It's been a long day, and we still have probably 6 more hours of packing boxes. I think we have enough space up here for everything, and then a little bit in the bed of the truck. I guess we can start filling up the car if we need extra space, but we still have to strap this thing down and basically get this thing roadworthy by the end of the day. We leave pretty early tomorrow. We've got a probably 8-hour leg tomorrow to get to, I think Phoenix, Arizona, somewhere in Arizona. We'll see. But anyway, I think this is going to wrap up the video. Thank you guys for tagging along. Look forward to sharing more antics as we start the road trip. And we'll see you in Bowling Green.